You know what? I thought it wasn't a start recording on Twitch, but luckily for me it has. So yes, it's Blood on the Box again. Jolly good. I'm sorry it couldn't go on Sunday. I did have a guest, but unfortunately I had to pull out due to real life issues. So, it's not that late anyway. It's Monday. And we've got an Xbox admin with us today anyway, so it's worked out fantastic. My co-announcer today is the legendary, the hard worker, the guy who's keeping the cup competition alive, Tizzle Bizzle. Now then, Tizzle, how are we today?
Oh, we're good. We can't complain.
Good. Excellent. And the good thing for Tizzle is he's going to dodge a bullet because... it's good news and bad news. Unfortunately, bad news for the Xbox community is the PS4 teams have won the battle of the consoles. So basically, there is no point me continuing for the last week or two. So I'm going to save the questions and I'm going to put a twist on it in a couple of weeks, what will all be revealed, where we're going to have a bit of friendly battle between Xbox coaches and vice versa for PS4, but we'll get into that later on. So there will be no Battle of Consoles quiz today, but we do have two more new segments to the show today. We have the hashtag Ask Bernie, what basically you guys can ask me anything. It can be ridiculous, it can be silly, it can actually be about Blood Bowl, anything you want, and I will answer it. So get them in. The best way to do that is if you're in our Facebook group, then just message me there, message me on the Xbox, message on the YouTube channel, wherever, Discord, you name it, just message me and I will answer in the following week's show. And the other segment is, I didn't really know what to call it. I'll just put it, hey, that's my piece. Well, basically what we're going to do each week, we're going to pick a piece, maybe a Troll Slayer or a Saurus, or a Elven Union Blitzer, and we're going to go in depth and talk about that piece, what that piece role is, how should we build it, and why, basically. So that's what we're going to do, so we'll come through to that as well. So we'll go through it as we do. We'll start out, as we always do, with a pole position, and unfortunately, Space Magic W has basically ruined it for everybody else by being so efficient, and basically... yeah, he's got the top spot sewn up, hasn't he? So it's just a case of we'll go through it again. People might say, well, why do we keep going through the same team? Guess what? Not everybody sees the show every week. I know it's blasphemy, and they should. How dare they miss an episode? But unfortunately, they do. So we'll have a look at it. And obviously, it's good to get, other people, like my co-announcers are always usually different. So it'll be good to see what Tizzle thinks of this team as well. And have you got the Space Magic's Chaos team up, Tizzle?
They should be loading up now, but it seems to be taking a bit.
Oh, don't they? Crikey, we have the Salty Police guy in the chat, and he's coming up as bright green on me. Now then, Salty. Right, there we go. Well, I've got the roster up there, so whenever you're ready to let us know about this team, fire away.
Alright. Hang on 1 second here, just gave me an internal server error when I was loading up. While you're just doing that, I've just got another message come through. Right, okay, that's fine. Is it still giving you issues? A little bit, it's still loading.
Well, while you're loading, I'll start the talk on it. Basically, Space Magic turned around and said, he said to me when I fought him last season that Chaos easy level. After the first 10 games, they're easy to play and they're just so easy. And basically, as much as I hate to say it, he's sort of proven that with 46 wins, 11 draws and 1 loss, that is an impressive record.
His record definitely makes it look easy.
Yeah, I don't believe they're easy. I think personally they're a team what you could give to anybody, even a noob, and they could win just because of the sheer damage output they can do. But there's a reason why we've never had a champion, a Chaos champion or an Eggle champion on PC, Xbox, or PS4. So they can't be that good. They can't be that easy. But I mean, he's done it well. I like how he's done it. He's got 4 guard pieces, all on the strength 4. Space on an early show did go into detail that it's quite easy to push a strength 3 guard piece out the way. It's a lot harder if it's a strength 4 piece. He's obviously built that, and he's obviously got 4 Mighty Blow, 3 Claw, and them 3 Claw have all got Mighty Blow, and he's even got Piling on Beastman as well. 2 Agility 4 pieces, 1 Strength 4 Beastman on top of that with Frenzy and Tackle. I mean, this team's just nasty. The only negative, and this isn't against Space, is the problem with Chaos is they rapidly go out of control TV-wise. This is 2,100 TV. That is a lot of TV for this team, but it obviously does have a massive damage output. Tizzle, have you got your roster up there?
Actually, I had to restart.
Okay.
I had frozen up. So I'm loading up at the title screen. Should just be a minute here.
That's fine. The other thing as well, what I like about this team is Beastman he's got Ball Handler, we've got Show Hands, 2 heads, obviously Block and Tackle. It's Tackle and Kick Return what I quite like on this, because obviously against a lot of the faster teams like the Elves and all that sort of stuff, they'll try and kick it deep. And if your guy's sort of like in the middle, he gets that precious 3 squares. So a lot of the times he can get under the ball, or if he isn't, he's right next to it. So I really like that choice, and Tackle's always a good choice as well, because yes, they are ball carriers, but there's going to be times where your ball handler's going to have to sit back and defend. You'd rather have your ball handler as your last line of defence than being in the big massive brawl at the front, just to protect himself from all the basically stamping and mainly killy pieces as well. So I really like how he's done that. He's got his dare play was sort of being given a -1 agility, but he won't bother about that too much. And he's got just a lot of filthy, nasty, just poor Beastmen, 4 unskilled Beastmen. 2 of them are only 1 point off for level up as well. So, he doesn't want them too expensive anyway to put the already high TV up. Last week we had a look at this one compared to Cass's, and majority of people thought this was a better balanced team. He's got 150k in the bank as well, what's always good. I mean, I don't really know what he's going to do with that 150k though. That's the interesting thing, because at the moment, he's got the highest TV in the tournament. So if he uses that gives free cash to his opponent. So I don't know if he's just keeping that just in case he loses a piece like a Case Warrior, they can replace it with the cash he's got. But it's a real nice team. Obviously, he's one of the best coaches on the Xbox. That always helps, and it is an absolute crazy record. I mean, just the 1 loss is just crazy, and I think even then there was circumstances to why he sort of lost that. So, are we back yet, Tiz?
I'm not yet.
Yeah, not yet. What? I tell you what, get your slaves working. Get your slaves working.
I'm working on it. It gave me another internal server error.
Oh dear me. Right then. So we'll just wait for Tizzle Bizzle. I don't really know what else to say about this. Shall we see who he's been beating? Yeah, there we go.
Take a look at his history. I can see it up on the stream here, but my game seems to be giving me a bunch of trouble here.
So I'm just looking. I mean, High Elf Explosion. That's a High Elf team. I know he gave them a lot of credit, because they were smart. They got I think they had an extra 2 apothecaries. They got a wizard. They got 2 babes to keep them, because he knew he was going to get a lot of players out. But apparently he always, he's always in the fight, and he very rarely was down numbers. And that was a 2-2. Now I think that's the problem with Chaos is it's started going against the Nurgle, the Dwarfs, the Chorfs, and all that sort of stuff, where really this Claw is a really major problem. When you're going against teams like Skaven, Elven Union, they're like, you know what, we ain't scared of Claw. We really aren't scared. We're Armor 7. Mighty Blow, fair enough, but Claw we're not bothered about. And this is the problem with this team, is if he comes up against someone like Drick Skaven or something like that, he could be in a world of pain. And I think that's the problem with Chaos, isn't it? Because it's easy. It's a lot easier to pick up a ball on a 2+, or dodge on a 2+, or throw on a 2+, or 3+, than to consistently break armor. Even though it's a 7, even though we might blow on Claw, you might need a 7 to break it, but then you still need a 9+ to get it off the pitch. So it is difficult. It is really difficult, and I think that's the reason why Agility 4 teams do a lot better than the Bash teams, to be honest. So it doesn't surprise me that he's had a few problems against the Agility teams. It's interesting. The Hyries gone up. He's had quite a few draw. I mean, obviously the Crazy Boys, the Norse team, they've gone toe to toe with him. Violent Pounders of Puds, that's the York team. They did really, really well and drew with them. So it seems like the higher the TV has gone, he's been putting a few draws in. Let's have a look. Obviously, he drew 1-1 with Kazim Kass's team. Just having a look, see if I can find many.
Right.
It seems to basically fought a lot of basher teams more than agility teams. But there we go. How are we doing on your end? Is it showing signs of life?
I am. Yes. I'm searching for teams now.
Jolly good. So basically, what we'll do,
So that I can pull him up.
we'll let Tizzle have his say on it, and then we'll move on to the next part of the show. Good to see people already in the stream. Say hi if you're in the stream, so we know who we are.
Chaotic Purpose, here we are.
There we go. So let us know what you think of this team.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty. I mean, he's got the four guard warriors. 3 of them have Mighty Blow, 2 of them with Claw. He's even got 1 with Tackle. Plus, he's got the strength 4 Frenzy Pusher.
Yeah, that's scary.
Which is gonna be a pain in the ass. That's gonna keep you from that piece right there is gonna keep you from wanting to set up on the wings. They're close to the wings there.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is as well,
the 2 agility 4 pieces, you're gonna be really hard pressed to get hits on both of them and get both of them out to try and stop them from handling the ball down the field.
Yeah.
With ease.
Thing as well with that.
You're right.
Sorry, I just said that strength 4 blitz you've done about the frenzy piece. Don't forget if that blitzes, that's actually strength 5. So it's actually strength 5 piece when it blitzes. That's scary. You know.
But yeah, they could struggle a bit if they come up against an agility team and have a little trouble with the ball. You know, you never know when you might roll a 1 on a pickup.
Yeah, and obviously Space knows about that, doesn't he? After his Necro crashed out for rolling quite a lot of 1s. I mean, I think that's the problem, isn't it? Because his TV's 2,100. A lot of these agile teams aren't going to be near that, and they're going to be able to get a wizard. So they're going to be able to either fireball the cage or try and zap the guy in the middle. And if the ball goes loose, because of so high agility, and a lot of these teams like agility, some of these have got agility 5 pieces, you know, within a flash, they've got the ball, threw it to their play, and they've scored. And that's the problem. Chaos aren't built to score quick. Like I say, he has got the 4 guard pieces, but I think if there's any chink of armour, that would be it, wouldn't it? You know, is the agile teams, and obviously because his TV's so high, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of weaknesses in here. I mean, tackle. He's got 4 tackles, so that's fantastic. I mean, he's got number 5 there, Palmer Goals, who was basically Mighty Blow, Claw, Tackle, Pal on piece. What's scary. And like you've already said, he's got the Frenzy, Strength 4, Strength 5 on the Blitz, Tackle Beastman. And I think it said to me that piece is like a skink hunter, because obviously against their Strength 2 pieces, it's going to be 3 dice every time. And it's a Frenzy, so potential 6 dice. Or 9 if he re-rolls it on a skink. So you'd think more times than not it's going to go splat. So yeah, it looks a good team. Do you think you should keep playing this team, or if it was your team, would you say, you know what, I'm happy where it is, I'm going to keep it, and I'm not going to play it anymore, or would you be tempted to keep playing this?
1, 2, 3, 4. I think that I would probably want to add Mighty Blow to this movement debuffed warrior here, but I don't think if I was in his position that I would play too many more games.
Yeah, I mean that's
TV, it. Like you already said, his TV. He's the highest TV in the competition.
Oh yes, sure is.
So I mean, with some lucky inducements, you could get into some real trouble. You know, somebody gets a halfling master chef on him and takes all 3 of his rerolls. That could spell big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's why number 7
it could
is such
definitely
a
run
big
into
thing.
some teams that could buy some chefs on him.
Yeah, Absolutely, because like I said, it wouldn't be surprised if some of these teams are going to get like 800-900 inducements, and like you said, that can seriously tilt it, especially if it's an agility team, because like dark elves, high elves, wood elves, they're already good without skills. So if you give them say 700-800 in inducements as well, and then you don't have like rerolls because of the Master Chef, and then they've got a wizard, and then they've got like Jodel Fresh Breeze and stuff like that. You can see how it could gain problems. But I suppose it's always been the luck of the draw, hasn't it? That's the thing. Always been the luck of the draw of who you get against. If it comes against bash teams, I suppose it won't be too bad. Personally, I'd like him to play a kill team, probably, so they can both mince each other to pieces, like Kazim Kaz's team. I think that'll be fun. Kill each other and weaken themselves up for the rest of us. That'd be quite good. So there we go, that's Chaotic Purpose. I would be amazed if somebody knocks them off top spot with that record. So,
with that record, yeah.
Absolutely. Right then.
46, 11, and 1.
It's crazy. Oof. Isn't that crazy? Right then, so let's get to the next part of the show. This is the new segment. It's called Hey, That's My Piece. And basically what we're going to do, we're going to discuss about one piece. And the piece we're going to discuss at the moment it is the Saurus from the Lisbon team. It's a piece there's a lot of different ways to do them. I'm going to see if I can find a lizard on the thing now. I mean, while I'm looking, obviously, what do you think Saurus are there for, Tizzle? What do you think their role is?
Protect the skinks and take out enemy players.
Yeah, I think I'm looking for a team, but I'm sure I've got a Lizardman team somewhere. Let's have a look. There we go. So, just in case people don't know what they are. So there you go. So Saurus are basically 80k, and they get movement 6, strength 4, agility 1, AV 9. They can take general and strength skills, but doubles for agility and passing. So, first of all, 80k, do you think that's a decent price for this piece?
Yeah, I'd have to say with how fast they are and the strength 4, that 80 is about right to go with their 1 agility.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is obviously
I'd say that's pretty spot on.
I looked at the price on these and I thought, you know what? Like you've just said, movement 6 for a strength 4 piece is extremely good value. They're armor 9, so they're really, they're basically like dwarfs and chaos warriors out there. They basically can take a beating. Only when Claw comes into the filthy mixture, they slightly be a bit worried about it. Agility obviously isn't too much of a big deal because they're not really there to use the ball. They're there to bash and, like you've already said, protect the skink. And personally as well, you can get break tackle as well too, so they use the strength as their agility. So if you personally, I don't know how much you play Lizards or if you play Lizard at all, but what sort of skills do you think is important for a Saurus player, for people who are trying to do a Lizardman team? What would you recommend them to go for?
I would definitely recommend block as the first skill, as that'll make your 2 dice blocks way more reliable.
Yeah.
You go from from a 1 in 4 chance or something like that to fail the block to a 1 in 36 chance to fail the block.
Yeah, massive. That's just massive, isn't it? Like I said, block. I think you've got to go block, haven't you? Really, none of the team have block in the team. No skinks have got it. Your Crocscore doesn't. These don't have it. So they're basically as reliable as Chaos or Nurgle out there. Really, they've got no block. So as well as there's other swanky skills, I think you are right in the fact that you should always go block first. Because like I said, he'll save rerolls, you'll hit more things down, and they'll obviously, get there. After you've got block though, Tizzle, that's when it starts to get interesting, because I think most people will say, yeah, absolutely, block, definitely first thing on a Lizard. What do you do after that though? Where would we go?
After block, I'd probably start to build each of them probably a little differently, although I don't play Lizards all that much. Lizards are one team that I just don't like to play very much. I don't like that they don't have any expendable players. They pretty much need all the players that they have on the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could kind of give up some skinks, but that's kind of, you're kind of floating in dangerous territory, throwing them out to punches all the time.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's like the concern I have with the Saurus is when they rock up to claw teams, because they're in trouble then. Because obviously it's if you've got like 3 Mighty Blow claw pieces, you're more reluctant when you put your men on the line of scrimmage. You're more like thinking, you know what, I'm going to push my skinks on there instead, because they're armor 7, I'm going to be armor 7, so might as well push them there. And like you said, every time you lose a Saurus warrior, it's a major blow, because you need that's their dominance, isn't it? You need that power on the front line. But with Chaotic Purpose, for instance, the Chaos team, what's very scary, you're going to get plenty of inducement, so you'll be able to get Slibbly, wouldn't you? So you'd have an extra Saurus on there. So then obviously you've got 7 Saurus, Strength 4, and a Strength 5 Croxigal. What is a really beefy line. Now, the reason I picked Saurus is because I could ask probably 10 different coaches and they'll all ask different things. I think it was maybe being Wraithlord. I apologise if I've got it wrong. He was saying you've got to go guard because your little skink in the middle.
I might.
I'm just saying your little skink in the middle is only strength 2, isn't it? So if they leap in, they're going to get 2 dive. But if you've got or at least 2 corners protected by guard, then it makes him at least strength 3 to strength 4. So, what was you going to say? Sorry, Tizzle.
Well, I agree with going second skill guard on one of them, but I feel like the first one you get to level 2, you should probably take Mighty Blow.
Right, and why is that?
Is at least the way I would go. Just to try and get the numbers advantage, try and score that attrition in the game.
Yeah. And
but as far as like the next source to hit level 2, I'd probably want to go something. I'd be either at that point go guard or tackle or break tackle for the mobility. But I feel like each of the sources should probably be built a little differently. Maybe go 2 guard and then 1 with Mighty Blow and then 1 with tackle and then switch it up vice versa. So the one with Mighty Blow then gets tackle and the one with tackle then gets Mighty Blow afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's kind of how I would do it.
I think the problem.
I ran into a lizard team that had all the Sauruses had block and guard, and all the skinks had sidestep. And I was playing Amazons, and they just could not put me down on the ground.
Right.
For the entire match, it was just like a hail of pushes. So I feel like you definitely got to get one Saurus with tackle pretty early.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. The problem with Lisbon teams.
You got to get 1 with the second skill as tackle.
Yeah, the problem with Lisbon teams is they always need that extra skill, don't they? There's so many skills they need, but you're trying to like get a balance, but it's like, how do you balance it? I would love to see. I thought, God, how cool would it be with having 6 guard Saurus with block, and obviously Croxigal. That'd be 7 guard pieces. Because I'm thinking, it seems at the moment there's a trend, or there is on the PS4, where they're just forgetting about guard because saying, you know what, I'm strength 4 already. So I don't really need guard because I'm stronger than you already and I've got more strength than you have. So that's where things like break tackle come in. Because obviously, savvy coaches are basically getting the zombies, or like you, for instance, maybe one of you is Amazon, Lamb and Blodgers and just tying them up. So obviously break tackle means they can dodge away on a 2+. So, you think, God, that's a really good skill. But then, like you've just said, but they can have guard and block, but if the other people have got blodge, how are you going to take them down? So obviously you need tackle as well, don't you? And that's the thing. So would you say it's best to do them in segments of 2, like give 2 with guard, 2 with tackle, 2 with break tackle? Would you recommend that's the way forward? So you've got a bit of everything, or maybe frenzy?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't really play Lizardmen all that much, but yeah, I'd probably build 2 with guard, 2 with break tackle. I'd try and get them all Mighty Blow eventually, but 2 would go block Mighty Blow. Yeah. Or actually, 1 would go block Mighty Blow and 1 would go block tackle, with the vice versa skill falling after that.
If you so let's say if you rolled agility on a Saurus, would you take it? Would you try and convert 1 into a ball handler? Say, I don't know, your best skill you roll was agility, so you become agility 2, like a bull centaur. Or would you think, you know what, my skink's there to do that, I don't need a Saurus?
In the Champions ladder, in a competitive ladder format, I would not take the agility. But if I was playing in some sort of private league, I would personally take the agility just because I like to make quirky, funny players.
So for fun,
But
certainly.
in a competitive environment, no, I would not take an agility on a Saurus.
What about strength? Is it foregone conclusion strength every day of the week? Strength 5?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll pretty much take strength on anything but a Snotling.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you get strength 5, say you rock up, I don't know, you first second skill. If I get strength 5 on a Saurus, I'm getting break tackle. So then, you know, and if I'm lucky to get double, I'm going to get dodge, break tackle, dodge player, strength 5, hitting a cage, a standard cage on a 4+. Most times you're going to get 2 dice. They're fantastic. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Saurus is, to me, you've got standard builds. You can either go guard and stand firm work well together. I've seen various teams have one killer, like Mighty Blow, tackle, piling on, even frenzy.
Yeah.
The problem with just having the one killer is other teams will dial on that and they'll try and take him out pretty quickly. So if I was going to go down that route, I would probably have 2 of them because obviously then there's 2 threats. But Saurus, to me, their job is to control and boss and dominate and be a roadblock. I think lizard teams are never going to be great killers. I think they just try and just outmuscle their opponent. You know, I'd be looking to try and get as plenty guard on these. Get block, like obviously Tizzle said first. Then be looking at guard and tackle. I think they're your 3 key things, and then obviously break tackle after that. But yeah, it's a bit of a typical. I picked the Saurus, so it's an absolute bloody minefield to decide what you need. But there you go. Let us know via messages or what piece you'd like to see next week. What we can discuss. But I think one thing me and Tizzle do agree was first skill ever, get block. The last thing I'm going to ask you about the Saurus, would you ever take wrestle on one? You know, so like wrestle, break, tackle?
I don't think I would know, just because I feel like you're depending on your Sauruses to make at least a couple armor breaks for you a game. And with wrestle, I mean, you're taking one of your dice out of the armor breaks.
Right. Okay.
So I personally don't feel like that's a good move.
Yeah, it's just something I've seen a few
But
things of. But you know, I mean, I agree with what you're saying because you want them there for hitting. Because a lot of people rely on the skinks, don't they, with like things like diving tackle, sidestep to stop the opposition. But you know, one thing I've seen what's coming through a bit of late is, you know, for all these blodgers and that they have this maneuverable Saurus, because the understanding is they've already got five Saurus and they've got Cook to go, who's dealing up front. Maybe they could have one of these round back. But you're basically saying nope, just go with the hitting with your Saurus.
I could see for having like a wrestle, break, tackle Saurus, you know, to jump out of a tackle zone and try and get a blodge guy down when you don't have tackle and stuff like that. So I mean, it wouldn't be completely useless, and it's not a terrible idea. It's just not something that I think I would do.
Excellent. All right then. So that is that done. That is that piece. Just basically discussed a few things about that. So like I said, let us know if there is another piece you want us to check on next week. Right then. So let's talk about the playoffs. So have you? I mean, obviously, I presume you've been watching them, or you know what's been going on. Because obviously now we're into round 2. So it's good to see round 1 was done very smoothly, wasn't it? Everything was done on time, so that was fantastic.
It went pretty well.
Any surprises in round 1 for you? Any team you thought, really?
Yes. Wow. I expected Underworld to beat the human team. I'll go back and look at what the actual team were.
Yes, I was. Well, I want salty, but I was like pretty not cocky, but pretty happy with myself because I thought I'd got every single one of them right. And then obviously I've talked to you, and you said, "Oh, bloody Underworld let me down." And I was like, I think I went Underworld as well, and I did. What happened? Oh, and then Space Magic turns round to me I think it was last show, and said, "Oh yeah, that Long Bowman coach is a bloody good coach." I thought, yeah, could have told me that before I put my predictions in, mate. But So I was the same as you. I think I got everything else right apart from that one. So shame on you. Shame on you, finally warped. You've let me and Tizzle down. But I think the biggest shock to a lot of people was the Woofers going out, top seed.
Yes, that was the next one I was about to mention.
And like I say, I think a lot of them been good. We had a few overtimes in there as well. And then we got on to round 2. And I tell you what, not doing great. I mean, I didn't see that game. I think I woke up as it was ending. Did you stream that game?
I did. I commentated that match.
So what happened there? Because I heard that the Nagel just absolutely destroyed Bologna, but obviously with Mutt being as good as he is, he did well to keep it as long as he did.
You know, he had some pretty bad dice going on that game, and
24 armor breaks Nagel did compared to the 6 for Bologna. That is a serious amount of armor breaks, especially on a slow team like the Dwarfs. 60 blocks to 27. That is wow. That is so one-sided. 4 knockouts, 5 injuries, and I think that's why.
If I remember correct.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, the injuries started coming early and often. The Claw was definitely putting in good work on the Chorfs in that match.
Yeah, I said this to Space when we was discussing it. I said, look, I fancy the Nagel because the Claw didn't come to the party against him. There was other reasons why he lost that game. And the way Nagel work, in my opinion, is if they have a bad day at the office, Claw-wise, they usually make up for it in the next game. And I think that's what I was banking on when I tipped, obviously not doing great to beat the Bologna, because I just thought the Claw would go straight through the Chorfs, and it obviously did. But that was a big shock, I think. I think a lot of people expected, because obviously Mutt, he's obviously one of the top coaches, is in the semi-finals of the PS4. I do believe that's sometime tonight, so good luck to obviously Mutt. So, you know, you can see why, when you see, like, Rambo, I mean, he's obviously said, you know, that Space is a better coach than him, and probably Mutt is as well, but when you've got all that claw, all that mighty blow, all that damage output, you've always got a chance, haven't you? And yeah, that was a killer. Anything else? I mean, the Iguanas versus Flash and Squishy, again, I didn't get to see that till late, but I saw the Lizards absolutely ripped the Elven Union to parts. I think they had about 2 plays left when I checked in overtime. So
I actually didn't get a chance to catch any of that match. Looking at the stats here, it looks like the Elves just got bashed to shit.
Yeah, but by
6
Lizards
injuries,
as well.
4 KOs, a kill.
I mean, you know, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I tell you one thing though about that game, and the coaches probably say, Ben, you've got it wrong. But I was like, it was 1-0 to Flash and Squishy. I think it was the last turn, and he did some sort of block. And the problem was, the way he pushed where he powered this guy, it made that his skink had to do unnecessarily dodges. And I'm like, why would you do that? That is just crazy. But luckily for him, he injured the piece. So he didn't have a roadblock there. And I thought, crikey, if I'm Flashing Squishy, coach, I'd be filthy over that. I'd be like, oh my God, you know, you made a mistake and you haven't been punished for it. And obviously then the Lizards won the toss in overtime, and that was it. It was history. So good old Bazooki goes through a 2-1. But again, another game where armor breaks, major reason why one team went through. I'm seeing what other games were played in that. The only other game was played was my game. I did warn people not to watch it. It was an absolute nightmare. And did Space listen? No, he didn't. He watched it anyway. You know, what can you do? That was I was close to just, you know, where they said, do you just drop the mic and walk out? I was literally just at that point where it's like, oh my God, hit the bloody things. Why are they not breaking? Why are they not breaking? And the thing was, the crowd actually helped me. We had a crowd pitch invasion, and he injured the Fnatic. So the crowd at half time had actually done more damage than my full team. You know, and I was like, what are you doing? Just kill them, stamp them, hit them, stamp, sent off. He killed my people. I'm like, for God's sake, just die, man. And in the end, we was on our heels, and I was thinking this is going into overtime. You know, it was crazy. And in the end, we scraped it against Goblins. I mean, granted, he had all these lovely, great inducements, and that we had 3 trolls and all that, but I was like, what I'd seen, obviously, I'd known about the Nurgle kicking ass, and then my team can't even hit Goblins. So I'm hoping the philosophy is in the next game the Claw will come to the party, because you know, 49 blocks and then 5 injuries. They came extremely late. They were, God, maybe 10, 12, 10, 13. And he had this agility 4 goblin, what was a pain in the backside. And I think the turning point in the game was he misclicked his troll to both down, and he got injured, and that was basically the slippery slope, and he went over there. But, you know, you can never, ever... People were saying to me, oh, you'll win the Goblins easy, but Blood Bowl's a funny game. As soon as you think you're going to win a game easy, that's when he bites you up the backside. And I'll be honest, he played really well, did the Cobra Skulls coach, and we got out of dodge. We scraped it. And, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I caught the last couple turns of that match. And I was surprised to see that the Goblins had a chance to tie it up.
Yeah. And it was a frustrating game in the point that for the first 2 games we've played, they're not doing the injuries. Because you'd think against Amazons, a lot of knockouts. I think the other thing we did, we killed the same blitzers, I think, twice. We obviously had extra apothecaries. But apart from that, they're just not they're just not injuring pieces. And like I say, against the Goblins, we scored early because I thought, you know what, let's try and rack up a score. And it never happened. You know, it just wouldn't happen. And, it was just a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, people were saying, God, you know, that was closer than they expected. But at the end of the day, I'm through. And it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get through, I guess. And I think the Goth Guards game versus Polka Kings of the Midwest, that plays tonight. So if you both can destroy each other, if the Orcs can kill the 2 War Dancers, or at least get an MMG, that'd be fantastic. And if Polka, you can just hurt a few of his players, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, that's the other 3 games we've had so far. So you were saying, Trev?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Grail Force 1 and Forge Hammer are playing tonight as well.
Good. So that'll be 2 more games.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I remember them saying about 10 o'clock, I think. Because I was like, oh, for God's sake, it's Monday. Because it's Walking Dead on a Monday in England. So there's no way I'm going to get that. There's no way I'm going to get the TV when the missus comes in. She'll be like, nah, it's Walking Dead. So I'll have to try and... if somebody else is streaming, I'll have to try and watch it while I'm watching Walking Dead, or I'll just have to watch the replay. Killer Croc. That's Villain, I do believe. Have you ever come against Villain, like the coach?
Yeah, I've played him a couple times, and he's a member of both of our Facebook groups. He's a nice guy. He goes by Burt Bacharach.
Oh, right, yeah. I've seen him on the Facebook thing. Yeah,
pretty sure that's him.
I'm not sure if this guy's got a PS4 account, or back in the day this guy was on the PS4. You know when the name's very hazy, but you think you've seen it from somewhere before, but I don't think it was the Xbox I saw it on. So you'll have to let me know if he was a PS4 player or not. But you know, he's obviously he's got the Trofega, so I'm quite excited to see how he takes on the Chaos Dwarfs on that one. I think that'll be quite a good game as well. But so I mean, is the cut-off point Friday? For the game.
Yes. I'm going to be advancing the league Friday, hopefully by midnight on Friday. That way, the next round, everybody has the weekends to get their games in, just in case coaches are 8 hours apart and have to play on the weekends due to schedules, work schedules, life schedules. So I want to try and keep the weekends open for each new round of the competition. So I will be advancing on Friday.
Yeah. Mouth of Barbecue saying my game should be Tuesday 8:30 GMT. Is that the Blood Axe clan off the top of my head? Is that Mouth? Space Magic said
yes, that's Mouthy.
My game against the Goblin should come with a public health warning. my eyes will bleed, and he almost died watching it. Well, I did try and warn you all. If I turn around and say don't watch it, don't watch it. But no, it's like he said don't watch it. That means I've gotta watch it. No, you don't. It wasn't very good. But Ben is lying. I'm gonna watch it, and then they complain when they watched it. That is as bad as I said it was. But yeah, it was. The only thing I can say to his face is it was a lot worse for me playing it than it was for you watching it. Trust me. I was hoping to get some XP, getting some nice deaths and everything, and in the end, all I did was get a freaking guy killed by a chainsaw. But hey, there you go. So that's looking good. So we'll just quickly have a look at this season. We've seen, obviously, Space Magic's team. Obviously, yeah, we know how good they're doing. He doesn't get any credit, though, because apparently it's like a computer game where everybody else is on normal or hardcore, and he's put easy level. So yeah. I'm sure Tizzle could get that record, no problem.
Oh.
So, is there any team here what you want to have a look at? Or any team you can think of give Chaotic Purpose a problem?
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at the Violent Pounders of Puds.
Oh, yes.
Gnome Slayer Tim's Orcs.
Yes, good old Orcs. Now, this team...
They're a 1910 Orc team.
Yeah, sure are. Let me see if I can... Yeah, I haven't played this team yet. This is a team, it's like, oh, God, I don't like it because I aren't really going to break the armor, so I'm going to get XP. They've got a bit of everything, really. They've got some power in there. They've got 6 guard pieces in there. Oh, I mean, what do you think of this team? Let me know what you like or dislike about this team. Sizzle.
I like all the guard on it, and the strength 4 lineman, strength 4 block lineman. He's a pretty nice piece. You get him a couple more skills, and he'll pretty much act like another blitzer for you.
Yeah.
Plus, he's rolled a lot of doubles. He's got a lot of dodge for orcs.
Yeah, are you a big fan of that?
Which is gonna make him quite tricky against teams like Lizardman and Chaos. Teams that don't have a lot of tackle. I mean, I guess Space is Chaos. He's got plenty of tackle to be able to deal with just 3 dodge pieces.
Yeah, he's a good coach as well. It is Gnome Slayer. I really like the way he plays. Like I say, it's a solid team, isn't it? Orcs are solid. I mean, they are built to be solid. He's got decent amount of guard. I would still be looking for some more guard though, if I can. I just think I think the most important thing. Space will probably disagree, but the most important thing on an Orc team is guard. Get everyone guard. Everyone guard. You get guard, everybody gets guard. Because if you've got like 10 guard pieces on there, you shouldn't dominate, and it also protects you against claw pieces as well. It's good to see he's got 2 stand firm. If he gets another, in fact, he's got 3 stand firm with his troll. So basically, 1-turners ain't gonna be doing nothing if they haven't got juggernauts or like that as well. He's got this squig sandwich chaos to throw a rock and get the ref. It's okay. I think I'd prefer the security gate though, to be honest.
I think he also lost a guard piece recently in this rookie Black Orc here. I imagine that piece was probably a little bit developed, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think I would have gone with the security gate because if you've got 3 stand firm pieces, you're going to put them on in the. I'd like to think you put them on the line of scrimmage. And then obviously the last thing you want is an extra 10 for them wood elves or whatever. So I would be tempted to change that, but that's just my personal opinion. I think it's a solid team. 1910 TV's good. Statistically, let's have a look at his stats. 21 wins, 7 draws, 4 losses, so there's nothing wrong with that. He's drawn with Chaotic Purpose as well, so kudos on that.
No player generally has a pretty good record with his teams. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's made all of the Champions Cups that we've had on Xbox so far.
He's got some good records. 2-1 against. He won Ground Zero 2-1. He drew with the Vermin Efficiency 3. What's a very good team. Beat White Lives Matter. Drew with Chaotic Purpose twice. So I was really surprised when I was streaming through Cabal Vision and I saw him was at that point was losing 2-0 to Black Sunrise, and I was like, whoa, I'm going to have a look at that game. And it ended up being 3-2. So I thought it was a bit of a shock. when he lost that one, considering what he'd beaten. So he was like, and he had plenty of players left, so I don't know what actually happened there, but that's Blood Bowl, I guess. But yeah, you're right. I think this team has got a really, really good chance. The other team I wanted to have a look at is Drick's team. Now, this Rat team, I played him with my Chorfs. And they are just crazy. He plays them really well. I think he plays Rats better than Wood Elves. I really do. My problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My problem against this guy. Well, the reason why I lost to him was he did this crafty move with a down Rat Ogre, what chain push next to him, a ball carrier, got up and blitzed, and ball went loose, and luckily for him, the ball bounced to his player, not man. The problem is though he just is so good with his team. I mean, I lost 3-2, but it was a bit more comfortable than that for him. He basically. Oh no, that wasn't with the Ratisans. That must have been with his other Rat team. Beg your pardon. So that's even more impressive. But the Ratisans, they beat I Hate You All, what basically is Cass team, and Cass has been telling everyone he's been kicking ass, and then Drick just absolutely took him to the cleaners. I was so impressed with that free. He just it was in cruise control. It was like taking candy from a baby. I think is the best way I can do it. He's been Children of Agroth, who I do believe has been doing quite well. He's beat Chotastic 2-1. He's been Deathfangs, who was at one point the top Necro, beat them 2-1. He's beat Mutz Nagel 2-1. Oh, he's just beating everybody. Rampage and Reptiles, I don't know who the coach is to them. They actually beat them 2-1, so kudos to him. I think Kate Reconcile, I think that is Space's team as well. He beat Ground Zero, beat them 4-0. Wow. There's some seriously, and then obviously Mutt, who's a very good rat coach, beat him 3-0. So there is some serious results there. When you look at this team, what is there anything what stands out for you? Can you see any weakness in the team, Tizzle?
Oh, weakness. The Vermin has a niggling injury, and I mean generally they're going to be your rats that are going to that you want. I mean, you don't want any of your rats to take punches, but if you have any of them taking punches, you want it to be the Rat Ogre or the Stern Vermin, and the one's got a niggling injury.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but I do really like the sticky runner here. I'm a big fan of the sticky gutter runners. He's got one here that's block, diving, tackle, sidestep, tackle, shadowing. I don't know if I would have done it in that order, but I do like that skill setup for at least one gutter runner.
Shadowing is so annoying, so annoying because when I've seen this team play before, they somehow bizarrely dodge past diving tackle, but he's like, it's all right, I'll just follow you and keep following you and keep following you. So you got to keep doing dodges and dodges. It is an absolute pain in the backside. Like I say, he plays his governors really well. I think he said that he's quite happy where his team is now and he won't be playing them again. I don't know if that's true, but I think
I believe that's correct. I thought I had seen that as well. But he could end up getting bashed up pretty good. He doesn't have any guard. He doesn't have. He's got 3 tackle, but he doesn't have any guard.
I mean, I suppose Skaven don't really have much in that way, do they? I think he's gone down the route that my Stone Vermin, if I get a double, what he has done, they're going to be taking the numbers down with a claw. And he's probably thinking a lot of teams are going to target them.
Both of them.
They're going to target them because obviously Chaos teams, Nagel teams, they'll want them taken care of because they can cut through them teams very quickly. And like I said, one of them's even got horns, so obviously he's strength 4 on the blitz, so he's scary. I don't think I like the Juggernaut though. I really don't like the Juggernaut on that piece. If he had Frenzy, it'd make more sense, but it hasn't. I don't like that, I must admit. Juggernaut, like, couldn't you have gone for something better, like Piling On or Frenzy or something like that?
Yeah, he definitely could have. I think he probably did that to negate the wrestle, so that you guys can't use the wrestle against him.
I don't know. I think if you've got Rat Ogre as well, you've already got friends
Yeah.
on that, so they're not going to be really down the sides that often. I like the rest of the build. I'm just thinking, Juggernaut on a non-frenzy piece, don't really like that. But I'm just nitpicking.
Yeah, the Juggernaut does seem a bit out of place.
I mean, if space.
But yeah, it's a
chatty
solid
about
team. I mean, I don't think anyone out there is dying to run into this team here.
No, I'm not. Because he can score at will. That's the thing. Drick has his own set plays, and he'll just switch it from one side to. They did that against Cass last game, and ironically, because I watched that, even though he beat me with his other team, I saw the setup. He designed to go down his right mile left, but he had gut runners hidden to switch to the way. And I thought, no, I'm not falling for that. So obviously, I didn't bite. So I did what I did a standard defense. So he had to do dodges and all that sort of stuff, but he still got through because most of the dodges and stuff was on a 2+. So it's like it's so hard to stop them scoring, and Drick is such a good player that it's like, oh my god, it's just you're basically hoping to try and level. At full time and hope you've done enough damage to take into overtime and then pray that you get the ball first. I think, this is a really scary team. It does everything. Guard, I agree with you, there's no guard, but Skaven don't really rely on that. They basically they choose their fights, a bit like guerrilla warfare. And out of all the teams I've seen in the competition, this is the team I will not want to see. This is the sort of team I would wish on a Space Magic or a Calcium Cast kill team, because I think this would knock both of them out. So
yeah, they'd stand a pretty good chance.
Yeah. So yeah, it do. I mean, I guess it doesn't get. I mean, Space saying with Juggernaut, it doesn't get thing on stand firm. So I get that, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I think there's better skills than Juggernaut to take. That's just my opinion. I mean, Drick, obviously, if he's in chat, he might be able to tell us something different, but I'm just nitpicking here. I mean, most of the stuff. I mean, I'm not too sold on Rat Ogre either, TV wise. I mean, it's 2040. So again, people are going to be able to get a wizard, or even like we've said before with the Halfling Master Chef. People still roll ones. That may be the best thingy. That may be the best. I think Drick would be quite happy to play the Chaos teams. I think he'd rather play Chaos because it's a better matchup for him. But
yeah.
That's what I think. I think it's going to take a bit of luck or someone very good to knock that team out. And let's remember the last time that there's money on board, he won it. So he's trying to go back-to-back cash prizes, and it's going to take a bit of a nuffling or a good coach to beat him. I think. I really do. So we will. See.
Yeah. I mean, the good coaches, they just don't beat themselves. They don't make mistakes,
No.
Their positioning's almost always spot on, and they take their moves in the right order. They just don't beat themselves. You have to be on top of your game to beat these guys.
Yeah, or Nuffle's going to get involved and make you roll a lot of ones or something like that. So there you go. So there we go. But just had a look at some teams there. I personally think at the moment, if someone said to me, Bernie, pick a team what's going to win the competition, I would be going for the Rats. Drink. I would be tipping them to win the full thing, because I just think they've got most of the ticks boxed. My only concern is if they come up against them like, I don't know, Wood Elves or something like that, who are about 1400 TV. Then the other guy could maybe use them inducements to basically give him the edge. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's get on to the next part, and this is the bit where I've been dreading but excited at the same time. It's in a new part of the show called Ask Bernie, where basically people have been sending me quite a lot of messages of questions, and we're going to go through them. And obviously my co-announcer, he's not going to get away with this because he's going to be answering a lot of these as well. So Tizzle Bizzle's not going to get a free ride here. So I had about 20 questions, but obviously we aren't going to go through all them. So we'll save some of them for next week. So if your message isn't read out, it's because it'll be saved for next week. So we'll go through them. Let's have a look. This one was an interesting one. So I'll ask you this, Tizzle. So I'll get your answer, then obviously I'll answer after you. Do you think they should bring the new piling on rules from the tabletop to the Cyanide game? Are you aware of that rule?
Yeah, isn't it like piling on costs you a reroll or something
Yep,
like that? I
that's
mean,
it.
I'm not too keen on the tabletop rules, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah, basically.
But
Yeah.
I don't
It,
think it should be implemented. I just think it puts a big crutch on chaos and dwarfs, the teams that really rely on attrition to be able to really get much done, especially dwarves.
when you say dwarfs, you're on about chaos dwarfs. Oh, you're on about dwarfs.
Really either one. I mean, both of them generally get some piling on guys and kind of need a little bit of attrition to get things going.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
More so dwarves with the attrition because they don't
Yeah.
have the speed, but
yeah. It's
I just think it
Yeah.
handicaps those teams too much.
Yeah, it's a funny one because I think the combination of Mighty Blow, Claw, and Parlinon is a ridiculously deadly combination. You only have to look at Chasm Cast's Minotaur, what has that combination, and that's been ripping teams apart. Because if the chances are, more times than not, if you're re-rolling needing 7+, if you're rolling like 2 sets of dice all the time, more times than not, you're going to be breaking armor and causing carnage. Me personally, even though I do play Chaos and I do play Dwarfs and everything else, I sort of welcome the rule. The only problem I don't like about it is basically it's saying now Parlinon is useless. Why would anyone take Parlinon? I wouldn't take Parlinon. What? Just on the odd case, oh look, I'm going to use one of my really valuable rerolls just to have a chance to pile on. No, I think I would have preferred you either take I would have preferred you can take Mighty Blow Parlinon or Mighty Blow and Claw. I think that would have been a bit fairer. Maybe it'd have been a bit too clunky to use or work around. I personally think they should bring the rule in because I think it's a good rule. And do you know what? I think especially Chaos would be a lot more deadly, or a lot more beneficial in the long run, because that means case pieces are going to stay up on their own 2 feet, so there'll be less gaps. And then instead of taking the likes of Parlinon, you can take other good skills like guard, stand firm, and stuff like that. So when Tizzle's saying no, keep it out, I'm going to say yeah, bring it in, because I think in the long run it will benefit everyone else. And I think one of the things what puts people playing things like the Sea Ladder is kill teams, and it's usually the Parlinon what does the damage. So I'm a big fan of bringing it on, because I think Parlinon is a skill what with Claw is just too deadly. It's just too OP. And like in most of the games, if someone's OP, they nerf it, and I think it needs nerfing. So there we go. Right then, this is from the PS4 because. I have a bit of a meltdown because I usually play against Dwarfs, but I'll ask you the same thing, Tizzle. What are your thoughts on Chaos Dwarfs? Got any particular?
I don't play Chaos Dwarves really. I just don't like that the Hobgoblins are your main ball carrier unless you manage to get an agility on
Bull Center.
on one of your bull centaurs. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't really play Chaos Dwarfs that much. I prefer dwarves to Chaos Dwarfs.
Yeah.
I just found the ball handling troubles and low armor of the Hobgoblins to just be menacing to me.
Yeah. I mean, I basically did a Chaos Dwarf team on the Xbox because I kept running into them on the PS4. Almost every second game was against Chaos Dwarf, and they'd be kill teams, or they're just a freaking nightmare to play against. And it gets so boring when you're playing the same race over and over again. So obviously, if you can't beat them, join them, sort of thing. I personally think they're decent. I think the thing with the Hobgoblins is they're cheap. So if they're only 40k, you're like sort of getting 2 players for the price of 1 almost, so you can get a nice deep bench. What is a weakness with dwarfs, that they're quite expensive, so you don't get as many. With Chaos Dwarf teams, it's fantastic. You get 6 Chaos Dwarf blockers, you get 2 bull centaurs, and then you can fill yourself with loads of hobgoblins. I've got a decent hobgoblin. He's not special. He's got block, kickoff return, sure hands. And he's my ball carrier in this season so far until he gets killed. And he's done a good job for me. He's won me various games. My Hobgoblins have been winning me games when they've been needed. So I think for 40k they are really good value. Movement 6, agility 3, strength 3, yeah, armor 7, but hey, they're pretty good. I don't mind Case Dwarves. I think the worry is because it takes so long to level up with your 6 Case Dwarves. When you lose one, it really doesn't balance the team, in my opinion. Star play wise, I don't think they're great either. I mean, that bloody Hobgoblin, 2-0k just because he's got freaking dagger. Nah, he's a waste. Hathark, for 330k, the Case Dwarf Bull Centaur is pretty decent, but I'm not too keen on star players. I think they're good. I've done alright with them, 16, 1 and 2, so I suppose I can't grumble. But yeah, they're alright. I've been told that the higher
I haven't seen
the better. Sorry, Tizzle.
One thing that I haven't seen much on Chaos Dwarfs that I always initially thought of, but again, I don't play Chaos Dwarfs hardly ever, almost at all. But I never see any Bull Centaurs with Frenzy. I mean, they have the Sure Feet to help out with the extra GFIs if you need to do that for Frenzy and keep people off of your wings.
Yeah, it's a great.
But it's just something I never see, and I just wonder why that is.
I don't know. I think.
How come I never see any Bull Centaurs with Frenzy?
I mean, if my guy lives long enough, he's going to get one of mine is getting Frenzy next. It's a very good point because if you got Frenzy pieces and the Strength 4 and they've got Sure Feet and Sprint and all that sort of stuff as well, then that's going to really mess up the game plan of your opposition. So. I think it's a really good thing. I think the problem is you want block and you want break tackle. They're 2 key pieces you want. Obviously, block to help you hit, be a more successful hit, and you need break tackle. Otherwise, they're just a bloody Black Hawk with an extra 2 movement. If you haven't got break tackle.
Yeah.
So I
guess it'd really have to be like a 4th skill on them, 3rd or 4th
possibly.
skill.
I was going to.
You're gonna definitely want to block. Break tackle, maybe then Mighty Blow.
Yeah, I had break tackle on one of my guys. Yeah, and the other one had block. And I thought, instead of getting break tackle, I'm going to get Frenzy. And ironically, he then rolled a double, so I took dodge because I thought, you've got to take dodge. Because then I can go break tackle, and then you'll have to get Frenzy, maybe 4th, 5th skill. I think Frenzy is a really good choice. I really do. And I'd rather have it on my Bull Centaur than a Case Blocker. Because, like you, I ain't seen much of Frenzy. On the PS4, I've seen a lot of Case Dwarfs with Frenzy, but never a Bull Centaur. And I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy. Because surely your Case Dwarfs should be all huddled together like a shield wall, covering each other's backs and, shoulder to shoulder, than one going off Frenzy with only movement 4, and then the Bull Centaur's done. It's a good point what you say. It really is. I like the Case Dwarfs. My concern is Claw is a massive weakness against them. That really, I worry when I see Claw, because I'm only strength 3, and although I've got guard, it's a nightmare. I think with dwarfs you can have that extra 1-2 long beards on your bench if you really want to. But yeah, Case Dwarfs are alright. I'm getting to like them a bit more, and the more I play them, the more I'm starting to get used to them now. So yeah, they're okay. Right, okay. Oh my word. Now this one, I should really name and shame this guy. This is luckily something. Oh, then again, I suppose you could probably answer it. You can have a go. If you had to spend a weekend away with Cass or Calcium Cass or TFG Hero playing Blood Bowl, which would it be and why? Did you want to answer that one?
Yeah. I mean, I would pick Kaz.
Yeah.
And I'm simply just making that, I mean, I'm sure that they're both somewhat decent people, in certain extents and all that. Maybe a little rough around the edges, but who's not at times.
Absolutely. I would have expected that from Space Magic W, that question, but it wasn't from him. It's a funny one for me because I really don't know TFG Hero. I can only go on what other people have said about him. Where Calcium Cass, if you take him away from Blood Bowl, he's a really nice guy. I always get on well with him. It's now to do with Blood Bowl, and he's a really good singer. He actually has a band, and he really, really is a good singer. But you're asking to play Blood Bowl against. I can't think anyone else I would want to play less at Blood Bowl than Callum Cass. Not because he's a great player, because he's a solid player. It's just that he will tell you this, he's the worst loser ever in the game. And that's why he falls out with so many people. It's a tough one. You know what? I will pick Cass because I think, you know what, if we're going to have the weekend or whatever, we're not going to be playing Blood Bowl 24/7. I'll make sure we're playing Goblins or Halflings, something fun. So there's no importance to the game. We'll just have a mess about. I'll ply him with loads of booze and drinks and all that. And after a couple of hours, we'll go to the pub instead. So yeah, I'll go with Cass because, like I said, as much of a pain in the backside he is at Blood Bowl, outside of Blood Bowl, he is a nice guy. So there you go. I'll go with Callum Cass. I hope that we both go for Cass. Not against TFG Hero, but I don't know him. Right, this one. Right, Tizzle. Star Trek or Star Wars? Which is better?
Star Wars.
Any reason why?
Just because I never really got into Star Trek. I may have seen like one episode as a kid growing up, but never really watched much of it. But I've seen all the Star Wars movies, so.
Good. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't mind the Star Trek ones. I probably watch the movies more than the TV show. But Star Wars is awesome. How, Jedi? Come on, seriously. Jedi's so much more cooler than Captain Kirk. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm Star Wars all the way. Obviously Luke Skywalker and all that. The new ones have still got to win me over a bit. They're all right. They're not as good as the originals, though, I don't think. But you can say that in about a lot of movies what get redone. But yeah, I will go with you with Star Wars. It's not even an hard question for me. Star Wars all the way, and I cannot wait for the second one. Do you know who the parents are of Rey? What's your guess? Do you want to
No, say that again. I'm sorry.
You know Rey from Star Wars? You know the woman Jedi, the super cool female. Oh. Who's her parents? Do you have an inkling who you think it might be? Do you want to have a guess live on Twitch?
No, I'm not gonna have a guess. I mean, it's been quite a few years since I've seen the movies.
Well, for anybody in Star Wars in the chat, I don't have a clue because I'm not a complete nerd or anything like that. So I don't know much. I just watch the movies and I just embrace the greatness of Star Wars. But I'll tell you one thing: when I saw the battle between her and Kylo Ren, I said straight away, "Oh my God, she fights like the Emperor." The way she thrusts and all that sort of stuff. So I think she could be a Palpatine. So, there you go. There's my bombshell. I'm probably talking a lot of crap, but I personally think the Emperor, who obviously Darth Vader killed, obviously saving Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, I think it could be his daughter. So there you go. There's the bombshell on that. But yeah, Star Wars all the way. What's this one? No, that's going to... Well, okay. It's an interesting one. The chat will probably help with this one as well. In tabletop, it's usually elves that win the tournaments, but you rarely see them do well in the Champions Ladder. Would you agree with that, Tizzle? Do you think that's a fair point?
Well, I don't play much tabletop. I mean, my first experiences with Blood Bowl were on the Xbox here a couple of years back. So it's hard for me to say if they win a whole bunch on tabletop. But I mean, at least on Xbox here, I mean, as far as at least high elves go, I mean, dark elves are fairly popular. But I mean, not a whole lot of people like to play elves on Xbox for whatever reason.
It's all about the bash.
The wood elves get a lot of play, and the dark elves get a lot of play, but nobody likes to play the high elves.
Yeah,
and the Elf Union, I mean, they're getting play, but they're still kind of new, so I don't know if that'll last.
Yeah, it's good to see a lot of people playing Elven Union. The only concern about Elven Union is that I've been watching the playoffs on the PS4 and the Xbox, and when the Elven Union have been getting knocked out, it's because they get absolutely smashed, injury-wise. They're like losing 6-7 players a game. And obviously, when you've got a long format as it is now, the concern with Elven Union is can they last that long?
That's going to be hard to sustain through a 6-round competition.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. What I would
But
say
I
to
mean,
that.
but I mean,
Sorry,
you
go
could
on.
make the same. You could say the same for Skaven, though. I mean, with all their armor 7.
But they seem to. I don't know. I don't know. They're a bit cheaper, and they just seem
They
to.
seem to have a little more. They have a little more teeth too. They can
Yeah.
knock some more players out than elves can as well.
Yeah, Mighty Block, Claw, Stone Vermin. What I would say to that, I mean, I don't follow the tabletop as much now. I think the reason why they do so well in tabletop is because, the TV values are what, about 1,300, something like that. So dodging and scoring on 2+, 3+ is a lot easier than breaking continuous armor. Case and all that at 1,400 aren't very good. A lot of other teams struggle at that TV. Elves will never struggle at that TV, and that's why elves do well. Considering you're saying about elves don't win on the sea ladder, I totally disagree with that. Drix won the championship with wood elves. So
Yeah,
they've won it.
yeah.
On the PS4, the most successful race is Dark Elves. They've won it 3 times, I think. And no other team has ever won it twice on the PS4 apart from them. So there's 3. I think on the PC, Wood Elves have won it so many times, it's just ridiculous. So, no, you're wrong, I'm afraid. The elf races win loads on the seed ladder. They're probably the most popular. I mean, if you had all the 3 formats up, I would be gobsmacked if elves haven't won a good majority of them. It's just a lot easier scoring than wiping teams out. I think that's the way it is. And Skaven have done well also.
Yeah.
So I
It is a lot
completely
easier to get
disagree.
those kinds of rolls than
Yeah.
consistent armor rolls. Yeah.
Yeah. And the final question before we go on to our final segment of the episode: what superstitions do you have pre-game and in the game? Are you superstitious, Tizzle? Is there anything you do in the game or just before it?
Yeah, I always sit in the same chair, and I always sit pretty much the same distance from my TV. And then I've got a little ritual where I tap on my coffee table, and then I rub the carpet a little bit, and then I have my son wish me good luck most of the time, and that's just about every match that I do.
Wow.
I don't like to call myself superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
Well, I don't really have pre-ritual. God. I tell you what, the way I do it is I get my headphones and put them on, put music on, turn the volume down on the TV so I'm in complete silence. All I can hear is my music, and that's what I do. Now, it can sometimes blow up on my face, like it did in the semi-final against Strix when I was 1-10 in to try and get an equaliser. And because I didn't have the TV sound on, the warning sound when you run out of time, didn't hear it, ran out of time. Just as I was deciding whether to do 2 GFRs or pass and then 2 GFRs. So it can blow up on my face, and I've done it more than once. But that's my ritual. It is just to get my headphones on, get music on, and then I'm in my own zone. So if people try and mind games talking on the game audio or whatever, or people trying to message me all the time, most of the time I'll just ignore it and just get on with it. Regarding in the game, if things are going wrong, I sometimes will type to a friend and moan and say, for God's sake, this is going wrong or whatever, because I find that's a lot easier, because it's like I'm still I'm not tilted, I'm pretty level-headed, but just being able to type it and go, rah, or God damn it, or whatever, it makes me feel a lot better. And like, I've got certain people who basically say, Ben, if you want to moan, just type it in here and we'll just take it. And they're quite surprised. I think, crikey, the way you type, it looks like you're tilting, but when I'm watching your games, you're not. It's just like you need that release. And I think even if you just type it down to yourself, or even write on a pad, or if you want to swear or whatever, just get it out, and it'll make it a lot better. I don't know why. It just does. So that's the only other sort of ritual I do. It's nothing superstitious or anything. It's just a way to try and manage your emotional levels when things go wrong. I had it today. The same thing went wrong against Salted Bunny, but again, you've just got to try and keep a clear head. That's what I always try and do. Bad stuff's going to happen. It happens to everyone. I mean, we saw it happen with Space Magic, who had been kicking everyone's ass. It's frustrating. But I think the better coaches keep a level head, and they'll even though it's annoying them, they'll try and work a way around it. And I think that's what you got to do. Too many good coaches tilt very quickly, and that can cost them games. It's just as it is. But yeah, my only really ritual is put my headphones on, get the music playing, and I'm in my own zone. When I don't have the headphones on, I can make mistakes because I'm not in my comfort zone. And obviously when I'm twitching as well, that's a bit of a double-edged sword, because in a way, I don't get really salty when I'm twitching, because I think it's what it is people can see me having the bad luck. People watch my channel, they know I'm having a mare, and they know why. So I don't have to say, God damn it, guys, the reason I lost is because this happened, because I don't have to say that because they're already watching. And obviously because I'm talking to people, I'm having a good laugh. So it helps me in that way, but at the same time, when I'm twitching, I play a lot more loose than I should do, and that does cost me games sometimes. So, it swings and roundabouts. But no, I'm not really superstitious. So there you go. So if your question I'm being asked, it will be asked next week. So my apologies if it hasn't. But yeah, thanks for the questions. All really good questions. And now to the final part of the show, what's basically the soapbox. And I thought this was quite an interesting one, what I've saved for this bit, because there's been a lot of talk between admins, and I've seen it being on the Facebook's been talking about quite a bit about this. My question is this, and we'll get Tizzle to ask it, and he's probably one of the best people to ask. Is 3-minute turns too long, or is 2-minute turns too short?
I feel like 2-minute turns is too short. I mean, I'm kind of a slow coach. I mean, I drive some people like Tom Hamilton Jr. crazy because I'll generally take almost all of my time on my turns. But that's basically just because I try and think through my moves, as I'm known to make mistakes. Put positioning errors. Put people in tackle zones when they shouldn't be. So I like that extra time to think, personally. And I feel a bit rushed at 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do see how 2 minutes could be beneficial. Games take less time, get more games in the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, we.
But I myself personally prefer 3.
Yeah. I think, like I said, the PC. I mean, it was really surprising. I mean, when they started talking in obviously the admin, the secret chat of obviously with Nethos and all that, talking about this, and I was really surprised the PC actually brought it up, because to me it's always been a PS4 thing. I don't think Xbox have ever thought about it. PC certainly haven't thought about it. They're all about the 3-minute thing. Some coaches felt it was dirty going to 2 minutes, because it's like, oh well, that's just a monkey outfit. That you've got to have the 3 minutes. If you want to be professional, you've got to have the 3 minutes. But we had the problem on the console, on the PS4. Is like a lot of people were just taking 3 minutes, and we're not on about, they genuinely needed the 3 minutes. They were probably done in a minute and a half, but they just dragged it out, or they just... And we was getting complaints left, right, and centre saying it's so slow. And we lost coaches because it was so boring. And that is my only negative about the Xbox, is that some games I'm like, for crying out loud, it's... I feel like I can play 2 games on the PS4 to the one of the Xbox, and I just wonder sometimes... I love, as people probably know, I absolutely love Blood Bowl, but even I sometimes get bored to tears when it's 3 minutes, because it just takes some coaches take so long. Now, I suppose in a way it doesn't bother me, like you said, if they genuinely need the 3 minutes, like you say for yourself. But when it's people who you just know, it's like, oh well, they could get it done in 2 minutes, but you know what, they're going to take the extra minute because hey, it's there. Granted, they're not doing nothing wrong, but I just think, oh my God, do I need to get a book? Do I need to go and make a drink? And I just wonder, would it make any difference going to 2 minutes? The PS4 has been a massive success since we went to 2 minutes. We had a vote. We asked obviously like you would do. We asked people, do you really want the 2 minutes? We had one high-profile champion actually stop playing it, Fantfox, because he needed the 3 minutes. So that was a shame. But apart from that, everybody else bought into it. And I don't ever think we'll go back to 3 minutes, because people playing more games is a lot more busier. And sometimes people don't have an hour and a half to put aside, but they'll have an hour or so. So they're the positives, but then obviously then you look at the 3 minutes, you think, you know what, for 3 minutes, you're going to get plenty of time, so, you know, you can take your own time, like you said, you're not feeling rushed. What really is stressful to a lot of coaches, because obviously it's a stressful game already, especially against one of the big players. And you think maybe to me saying, oh my God, you know, I'm not enjoying it because I'm having to rush, and then you make mistakes, so you get frustrated. Where with 3 minutes, you sort of, it's a lot easier, isn't it? Like you've said. But I remember playing 40-second turns. I don't know if anybody else in the Twitch when it was on the PC. We actually had 40-second turns. They were just absolute crazy. You know, you had to basically know what you was doing a turn or two in advance. So I suppose when you used to play that, 2 minutes is a long time. But I don't know. My view is on this. If the only way you're gonna know whether the PC or the Xbox is to try it for a season. If it's a car crash, go back to 3 minutes. If it's successful, you stay with 2 minutes, and that's what I basically said to the PC lot. To me, it makes no difference to me, because obviously, like I say, I do play on the Xbox, but I also play on the PS4, so I get the best of both worlds. So it's okay to me. But I just thought it was interesting that obviously this has come up, and no one's actually pushed this, and it just came up, and all of a sudden, let's all talk about it. It'd be interesting what the chat think, because like I say, Xbox might just all want 3 minutes, and if that's the case, that's what it is already. But my concern with the Xbox, and I do feel like a broken record, is that the games, is there enough games being played on the Champions Ladder? Yes, there is more than it was in Season 9, that's probably because of the cash. But again, I still don't think it's great. Would 2 minutes help? Would 2 minutes make more games be played? Or would it put people off? I don't know. What do you think, Tizzle? I know you're saying you prefer 3 minutes, but
I don't think we'd lose any coaches out of the CCL if we went to 2 minute turns. At least not any. You know, we might lose some of the coaches that are getting like 1 or 2 games in a season, which there are quite a few of on Xbox. But I don't think we'd really lose anyone, and I'd definitely say it's worth a shot. And, you know, if the community likes it, then we should have 2 minute turns.
Yeah, it'd be like I say. I mean, obviously,
and, that wouldn't really bother me too much. I'll just adjust and try and play faster and.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like I said, we keep 3 minutes of the playoffs. So obviously, when it gets to the playoffs, because that's when it's the high stakes. We get to 3 minutes. My argument is that the way the ranking system works, losing a few games isn't crippling at all. It doesn't cripple you, and that's a great thing. So you can still sort of play, and if you lose a few, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You look at the records. You know, there's teams with 9 losses, 6 losses, and they're all up there. So. You know, I think shaking it up it would be a good thing for the PC, Xbox. I would be amazed if they do on the PC, because I think there's too many PC guys setting their own ways with the 3 minute thing. But we will have to see. The other quick question regarding on the soapbox this week is, we obviously, as you know, we've been talking about minimum games. How many games should there be a cap on how many games you have to play before you can qualify for the playoffs? Now, people have bandied 3 options at the moment. Nope, there shouldn't be a cap. 5 games and 10 games is the cap's what's been talked about. Where do you stand on this, Tizzle?
I think that probably. I mean, at first I supported 10 game minimum requirement, but then after some of the ranking formula things were brought to light, and you could get a team in there that let's see, how do I put this? Well, I think I guess the whole goal of the minimum games required is to keep like 1-0 halfling teams out of the tournament and 1-0 ogre teams out of the tournament and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But Ronald Bino actually suggested like a kind of not weighting your first couple matches so heavily, and I think that would take care of that problem. I think that's probably the best solution, as opposed to a minimum games required. I mean, because filling out the Champions Cup 9 I mean, it was pretty difficult with wild cards and coaches having multiple teams that were fairly high ranked, and I think that adding requirements like that might make it a little bit harder to fill out all those spots.
Yeah.
And me personally, I'd like to keep the format of the Champions Ladder as close to how Cyanide has it set as possible, just so that they continue to support our Champions Ladder.
Yeah, I think it's me personally. I'm quite I'm quite harsh. I know for a fact that Cyanide were not happy with the PS4, where a Goblin team got through with a 4-0 record. The Ogre team, they didn't have a big record, and obviously the Xbox, I think did we have one what had a 0-0-3 record? What got through?
Yeah.
So, but there's nothing the Xbox could do. There's nothing you could do because there just wasn't enough people played. So, in a way, you think to yourself, crikey, we struggled on the Xbox. So, if we had a 10-game minimum, that could really struggle. That could really mess us up even more. But
on the flip side, though, it could also force coaches to play more games.
Exactly. And that's the
thing. It's
thing.
just hard to say which way that would end up going.
But again, nobody will know until they've done it. That's the thing. You're not going to know until you trial it. I think now with there being cash on board, it obviously it's got other people playing more that based on Season 9. But I the way I look at it is if you cannot get 10 games in 6 weeks, that's 6 weeks, then I'm concerned that you're going to be able to play one game every week in the playoffs. That's 5 weeks where you've got to, if you get the way to the final, you've got to play a game each week. That would be my concern, because I'm thinking 10 games in 6 weeks is nothing. No way should that be, in my honest opinion, I don't care how busy you are, what your work is and everything, you should be able to do that. Again, the 2-minute turns would obviously help with that as well. That's just the way I look at it. I look at it very black and white, and I'm thinking 5 is too little, because obviously Cyanide weren't happy with 6-2 records and stuff like that, so 5 doesn't really negate that. I think if you can get a good record with 10 games with Halflings, Goblins, then you've earned it, in my opinion. That's all I can say on the PS4, because the PS4, they had a lot of games being played, and we had an Ogre guy who was 4-0, and he would have qualified. But he was like, no, I'm going to try and win a few more. And he lost one game. And the other Ogre guy, he played 6-2. And he refused to play anymore. So he went through. It doesn't matter how many other games the other guy won. Because the other guy was going to sit on that record. And that, I think, is what Cyanide want rid of. And especially when it's for cash. So I'm a big believer. And I will be pushing the PS4 a lot. I want the 10-game minimum. Because my opinion is, if you can't do 10 games, then, well, you obviously don't want to be in the playoffs that bad. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you obviously probably disagree with that. Maybe the Twitch fans disagree with that. I don't know, but I just think 10 games is not that
taking a look at the Modric here, I mean, most coaches are already getting 10 games played in so far this season.
Yeah.
I mean, the Modric's not updating for me, so I can't sort it all out. But it looks like most coaches in we're like 3 weeks into this season already have more than 10 games.
Yeah, I think it's more to do with Halflings and Goblins and Ogres, them sort of 3 teams. Maybe even Underwell for maybe, I don't know. But that's the sort of teams they're actually aiming it at more than any others. Because like I say, a lot of the other teams, you're always going to get someone played over 10 games. It's just the small teams like the Halflings and that. So I think that's what it's mainly aimed at. But to me, I think it's fair, because you don't want Goblin teams sitting on 4-0 records. It's not fair on everybody else. It really isn't. And my point is this, is if people turn around to me and say, right, Bernie, okay, there's no Goblin, there's no Halfling guy who's played 10 games. What do you do then? Well, then you just take whoever's the highest ranked out of them. As simple as that. So, if someone's got a 7-6-1 record, the other guy's got a 4-3-2, then obviously the 7-win one will go through. But if there's a guy who's played 20 games and he's lost half of them, well, he gets through because he's played the 10 games, and that's the way it is. And his opponent had the chance to beat him, but decided not to. So I just think it's a lot fairer. That's just my opinion. And like I said, I'm looking in chat. A lot of people are saying 10 if they did it. And S Hunter, no, we can't go back and do it all again. But it'll be on my YouTube channel shortly. Anything else? Would encourage coaches to hit that 10-game minimum. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Space Magic saying 10 is perfect. I mean, the thing is as well, it's saying to people, you wanna get in the playoffs, you've got to play games. And I think the major problem with Xbox at the moment is getting more games in. How can we make more games be played in the Xbox? And if that means some guys have got to push their team a couple more games, then that's got to be great, surely. That could be difference for another 30, 40 games overall. Well, is good in my opinion. So, that's what I think. You got anything else to say on either of them two things, Tizzle?
No. Well, yeah. What Ronald Bino suggested was the rankings weighted lower at the low end of games.
Right.
And I think I kind of like that idea, so that your 1-0 isn't getting you a rank of almost 50 or like 40. I think it's like 43.2 or something like that. That 1-0 will get you.
Yeah. I think though, with like if you play 10 games with goblins and halflings and that, you'll do really well to play 10-1-10. Or have a really crazy solo record and things like that. And if you do get it, then you know what? Well played to you. The problem we had on the PS4 is that we had teams like with 4 wins and 3 of them would be concedes. How is that fair? It's not. That's.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's all guesswork, isn't it? We can say whatever. In my opinion, it'll always be you won't know until you trial it with everything. That's basically what they do. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
But I do agree that something has to change in there. We can't have these teams sitting on 1 game or 4 games or 3 games or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, Trippers has said as well. There was a Norse team on the PS4, but played 5, won 5, and that was it, and they just sat on it. I think it was Arzawin who did that trip. I don't know if you're still in chat, but Arzawin had a record. I think played 6, won 6 this season as well. So they just get the games, a couple of games in, then sit on it. And we've got to stop that because less games are getting played, and I still think it's unfair because like 6 of them games could have been 3-4 concedes. So it's something I think we'll see. I think there'll be a few changes for season 11. It wouldn't surprise me if the consoles and PC all go different ways and put their own twist on it. I think that's what's going to happen. I think the Xbox team will probably go slightly different to the PS4 team, but I think if we can get some sort of rule, regardless of what it is, to try and improve it, then it's only going to be better for the champion ladder, in my opinion. But we'll have to see. So, anything else from the chat before we wrap it up? Because just in case you've just come in, there is no console battle this week. Unfortunately, the PS4 team have won. There's not enough quiz rounds left for the Xbox to win it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to save them questions for when we start fresh. There is going to be a different twist put on the quiz for the new season. Also, there's a thing with quite a few of the hardcores in the Twitch at the moment. One thing I'm thinking of maybe doing is like an Xbox competition where we maybe have 2 teams of 5 or whatever, and we'll do it live on Twitch. And like University Challenge, I don't know if anybody has heard of University Challenge, and where basically 2 teams will go against each other and have a battle royal and all that sort of stuff. So I'm thinking of doing something fun like that. With Blood Bowl, we could have even have other stuff in there or whatever, but let me know if you think that would be a good idea or not. So some sort of like quiz with 2 teams, like a Survivor Saves on the wrestling without obviously the pile driving. So that's something else I'm looking at. Make Trevor sing. Why would I? Apparently, we've got to make you sing, apparently. Are you like a big rapper or something? Cell Commander says...
No, I'm not a singer.
Cell Commander
Cell Commander's crazy.
Why would you want to be in the playoffs with a team that only had 5 wins? I wouldn't get smashed in the playoffs. I think what it is, Ferret, I think I am the arch villain in this because I actually got into the playoffs with Bretonnians and I played 5-1-5, something like that. I knocked the Dark Elf team of Calcium Cast out first round. They was like 2,100. I was like 1,300. I then knocked the top Nagel team out. I then knocked the top Lizard team out, and I got to the final. And if the crowd had thrown it anywhere but he threw it, I would have won the final. But sadly, the crowd threw it to the only player what I couldn't mark. But I got to the final, so you can do it. You can do it. My Brett team of 5 or 6 games actually got to the final, so you can do it. It's been proven. But what people forget is that I had played about 40 games with the Yorks, and I couldn't qualify with them because ours away finished top Orc, and I'd finished 2nd or 3rd in the league, and that was back in the day where there's no wildcard spots. So it wasn't like I just rocked up and played 5 games the full season and got myself, hey, to the final. I'd actually played a lot more games than that. So it can be done. And like I said, Blood Bowl's Blood Bowl. You know, if your opponent's rolling 1s and you're rolling 6s and all that sort of stuff for doing your stuff, then you could win. It is rare. It is rare, Ferret, but it can be done. I've proven it can be done. And we've had teams before what have been bashed up and you thought they've got no chance, and they've got there. So I think what we're trying to do is try to say, look, we want you to at least play 10 games. And I think with the Xbox, we want more games being played on it. We really do, because if the numbers aren't great, then you just never know when they're going to pull the plug on the Champions Ladder. And people like SL Hunter thought tooth and nail to get this over to the Xbox. So we need to back his hard work and all the other admins' hard work and keep supporting and promoting this Sea Ladder, because I think the Sea Ladder is fantastic. It really is. Private leagues are great, but most of the time you're playing once a week, where this you can just tune in, spin, and play and build a great elf team or a kill team, whatever.
Indeed. I like having a competitive free ladder to spin into.
Yeah. Because
I mean, there's always the open, but I don't really regard that as competitive. I mean, I haven't really played in it much in quite a while, but back in the day, it was just a rash of concedes and kill teams.
Yeah, and obviously people, if they've got 2 accounts, can farm against each other and get these Uber teams anyway, so it's not great. It's there just to learn, or if you just want to really mess about or do whatever or stuff. I think the Sea Ladder is where you are. And the thing with the Champion Ladder as well is you get to play loads of different coaches, so you learn stuff from them, and it makes you a better coach, in my opinion. And, you know, I suppose the good thing about the Sea Ladder is, like, I was talking to a few people and they were saying, oh yeah, well, you know what, I had this case team and I was in a private league with loads of elves and that, so I didn't take claw, took tentacles and stuff like that, and he drove them crazy. What is smart play from him, but in the Sea Ladder, you don't know what you're coming against, so you've got to try and get a more balanced team. You can't go down the one thing mentality, and like we've said before, as people said with Chaos kill teams, that's why they've never won Summit, because obviously it's alright if they play dwarves and smash them up, but what happens when they come against blodgers, like loads of wood elf blodgers or dark elf blodgers or Skaven? That's when they're caught, and that's why you need a balanced team. And we'll see with Space Magic if he can pull that off, or do what Rambo doing. What people have said, Rambo's just been smashing everybody, but remember, Rambo beat 2 teams what are not really agile, Necros and obviously Case Dwarfs. It'll be interesting to see how they do if they ever come against an elf or something like that. So there you go. So yeah, basically, you know, that's us done. I don't think there's anything else real to say. Unless all I need to do is thank Tizzle for stepping in and doing fantastic as always. You know, and obviously I can't wait to get to the nitty gritty. I'm sweating on who I'm going to be playing against. Unfortunately, I think Chelsea's all said it's about 3-4 in the morning for where I am. So it may be one of those where I watch the highlights and see what happens. But good luck to everybody else who's in the playoffs. I hope you all do well and kill each other. Obviously, good luck to everybody in Season 10. Hope you all do really, really well. And that's us done. Thanks again for staying by and obviously mention stuff in the chat. Anybody who wants a particular piece to be dissected by myself and my co-announcer, please let me know via Facebook, Discord, or even leave a message on the YouTube channel, and I'll try my best to get that piece sorted. And obviously, please keep sending your questions in because they're great. Like I say, it doesn't have to be Blood Bowl orientated. It can be about, like I say, Star Wars, Star Trek, or something really funny. I'm more than happy to answer anything. So thanks again for Tizzle Bizzle. Thank you all for obviously watching.
Do you have another minute here?
Another what?
I just have another minute here? I just have a couple questions. I've
Yeah,
had a
of
couple
course.
coaches.
Yeah, of course,
They want me to put you through a getting to know the coach little segment that I believe you've done on the past shows.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a couple questions here for you. So what's your Blood Bowl pedigree? How long have you played?
Ooh, God. Right, I'm 41 now. On and off, I'd say about 25 years. On and off. I played...
25 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So you
that's
started
just-
on tabletop, I imagine. Then.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I played a lot. I actually worked for Games Workshop as well. So obviously, I was there for quite a while in the Hull store. I also worked in the Grimsby store. And obviously, I love tabletop. I love Warhammer Fantasy. But then the problem, as a lot of coaches found out, if there's no private leagues nearby, then all of a sudden I've got Blood Bowl, and if I don't go to Games Workshop, because obviously Games Workshop eventually got rid of all the board games sort of thing. You didn't play them in there. It was all like the fantasy and 40k, so you had nowhere really to play them. So then obviously they just gathered dust, and then it was only when, you know, like my friends came around with every so often, we'd play it out, we'd get out then. Otherwise, it just gathered dust. And then obviously when the computers with Blood Bowl 1 came out, obviously I started playing them then. So I'm back again. So on and off, like I say, for that amount of years, but yeah.
Okay. And then, what teams do you feel that you do well with and against?
I've always this always confuses people. I probably my best team's always been Orcs. I've won various little tournaments and various things with Orcs. The thing is though, you very rarely see me play them on the consoles because I've played them for so many bloody years. It's like, oh, I've got this choice of all these teams. I'll play something completely different. So I like Orc. Guard wins games. So I love Orcs. I struggle playing Norse because every time I try Norse, they always die. Because I ain't got the agility to dodge away, and if I do, I usually fail and they get killed. My Yeti just seems to doesn't want to do nothing, and everything just dies. So I really struggle playing Norse. They just die on me. I don't know why. To see what people think I play really well is Necro. I usually have a lot of success with Necro. I think they're really nicely balanced. You've got 2 wolves with Mighty Blow Claw if you get the double. You've got a couple of ghouls, you've got your Stanfam golems, and you've got your whites, and you get regen, you get nice cheap zombies. So I really play them really, really well. The problem I have with Necro is twice I've gone to the playoffs, and both times I've had horrendous nufflings compared to any other team. So that's really messing with my head now. And I've sort of chickened out on the Xbox with my Necro because I've got a nice Necro team going. The 7-1-0. But I've sort of gone to Chorfs just because I'm like, I don't want to get a really good Necro team and then do what happened to Space Magic and see it go burning down again. But yeah, I'd say Necro I've got a really good record with. Orcs have always been the team I liked. I've won many things with Orcs. I love goblins. I really love goblins. Teams I struggle against. Wood elves seem to just jinx me. It's not like I can't play them, play against them. They just seem to I don't know. When I play bash teams, I mean, even against Drick in the semi-final, I stopped him from scoring in his draft. Everything's going well, and then all of a sudden Wood elves start breaking armor left, right, and centre, and I end up being outnumbered by Wood elves. And then throw the ball, and a lone Wood Elf intercepts on a 6+. In the first season on the PS4, the first ever game in the playoffs, I'm losing 1-0 on my draft. Second half, they've got the ball. I take the ball off them. It's 1-1. Everything's going well. It's overtime. I'm going to win 2-1. But the problem is, there's 1 Wood Elf left. I'm thinking, you know what? It's 10-23. We'll just go and slap it. We didn't slap it, and then on his turn, he red dart blocks me, pushed me out of scoring zone. But I'm like, well, it's all right. I can score whenever I want. Because I didn't know it was 24 turns and then it's penalties. So I went out on penalties. So Wood Elves always seem to be a bad charm for me because I can never take enough off the pitch. And then they always seem to beat me. I don't know why. So I would say they're probably the team I struggle against because they always seem to get the rolls and I never do. So I will go Wood Elves being a team I struggle against. Although I like playing against them because they're AV7. What's not a lot to like, eh? So yeah, struggle playing Norse. Seem to struggle against Wood Elves.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I know some of the big guys are better and worse than others, but in general, what do you think about taking the rat ogres and the Kroxigors and the ogre on the humans and the troll and all that? How do you feel about all that?
It depends on the race. I don't like big guys at all. Case Dwarf, Minotaur, big no-no. Never take it. Don't like it. It's a rip-off. Don't need it. Trolls, I'll take trolls because it's an orc team, and you gotta like trolls. And having 4 black orcs and a strength 5 troll with guard, stand fair. Yeah, I'll take a troll. Chaos, Minotaurs, no, because every time I take one, they always do rubbish. But Kalatim Cast seems to do well with them. I suppose the quickest way to do this is which teams will I take a big guy on. Troll on the orcs, yes. Goblins, obviously yes. Halflings, obviously yes. Beast of Nurgle, you have to take that on a Nurgle team. Even if you don't start with it, that is such a key piece. So, Kroxigor as well on the Lisbon team, you need that. I think you definitely need the Kroxigor. I'm just thinking, Ogre on a humans team is a funny one because they need a bit of biff, don't they? And I think because they're quite cheap, I'd take an Ogre. A Rat Ogre is something I would more likely take at the beginning, but then when it dies or goes, I wouldn't get it again. I'm not a big wild animal fan. Just rolling a 4+ to move a piece, I don't like that at all. I really don't. So yeah, I'm a bit. I'd rather not have one because they're just so unreliable, and you know, with guard and maneuverability of other pieces like your strength 4 pieces, like Black Orcs, Case Warriors, you don't really need a strength 5 piece. There's only very few teams won't need them, in my opinion. So I would say I'm more against it than have it.
Okay. And then I've got one last question. Do you take an orc thrower, or do you not believe in the orc throwers?
Oh no. Are you? Oh man, my street cred's gonna go diving down now, big time. I always took the orc thrower, and he always did well for me. Just because he's got sure hands early doors. Later on in development, I probably won't buy another one. The problem is the orc throwers got me out with so many difficult spots. It's won me stuff. Because people see orcs and then they just come at you and they think, you ain't going to throw the ball, so I don't even know why you're threatening to throw it. And what do? I throw the ball. And a lot of the times, it sticks. So I like the orc thrower. People be telling me use a blitzer because with an orc thrower you're gonna get blocked anyway and your fair skill. So why don't you just use a blitzer and then get sure hands and there you go. My argument to that is I want my 4 blitzers prowling about trying to kill stuff and let the thrower have the ball. So I'm more with the thrower, unfortunately. I know that's gonna upset a lot of people, but I take a thrower.
I like the orc throwers as well.
Oh, well, then
I like
me and you
that threat
together.
of a pass. You know,
Yep.
Hopefully my opponent will respect that threat, and if he doesn't, hopefully I can burn him with it.
I tell you one thing I do with an orc thrower, although it made me lose a lot of games because I couldn't resist doing it, is get Hail Mary pass on the thrower. More of a defensive skill. So basically, he'd be protected or whatever. But if everything goes horribly wrong, or say for instance he's out the back and you're playing Wood Elves or Skaven, you know they always get defense splits because hey, it's just the way it works. And he has to rush back and he gets the ball and he's got all these Wood Elves and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get the ball loose and they're gonna score. Having Hail Mary is fantastic. You can lob it to the end of the pitch. The problem I had with this is I tried it once and I threw it and it bounced into my Orcs blitzer and caught it and I went and scored. And I just presumed, oh, that was so much fun. I'm going to do that every game. And basically, I'd sucker my opponent in, but then my Orc wouldn't pick the ball up on a 3+ with a reroll and, oh, it just went horribly wrong. But I like the Orc thrower. I do. And I like Hail Mary pass and you can get leader, you can get accurate. And the only bad thing about them is the movement 5 and their armor 8. But hey, they're a thrower. What do you expect? So yes, I'm with you. Throwers, yeah. Yes. Like throwers. Hey.
All right, I think that's all I got.
No worries. So there you go. But yes, we are now done. See, there you go. I don't know why I say that because I think we had this last week with me and Space. Yeah, we're going now. 20 odd minutes later. Yeah, we are going. We are really going. You know, we are going. But yes, guys, we are going. I think Duran has messaged me. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to join him because I'm going to go and have some food. But there is a game between Mutt, obviously the Xbox crew, go Xbox, against the entertainer himself, Stuntman Diddy, go PS4. Got to be neutral here. Got to be neutral. I don't want the PS4 lot lynching me. That game's on now on Duran's Twitch. I don't know if so if you look on there now, that is getting played now. So go and cheer on Mutt because obviously he is representing you lot. Because don't forget, Cass said you guys can't play. You're rubbish. You're no good. Can't play. So go and cheer on Mutt because I tell you what, Mutt is ripping it on the PS4. He's doing really well. And if he wins, he's in the final. Oh yes, an Xbox guy taking the PS4 crown. That's got to be sweet, surely for you Xbox guys. Right then, thanks for Tizzle Bizzle. We will, honestly, we are now leaving, guys. We are going. We are absolutely going. So go and watch that game. Go and support Mutt because he needs all your support because it's going to be tough against the entertainer and some Diddy's Dark Elves. So, and there you go for the guy who asked the question about elves don't do very well. Well, there you go. We could be having yet another Dark Elf in the final. So there you go. Thanks again, guys. Take care, and hopefully we're back next Sunday and get them questions in, and we'll answer them live on air next week. Thanks a lot, guys. See you again. Bye-bye.